Hello, I'm Emma of Granola Gear, and we're doing something a little bit different today than just sitting and chatting about knitting. We're talking about yarn more specifically, but we're not really talking about it. We're going to organize it. As you can see, we're overdue. It's not going to look perfect by the end, but it should look better than this. I like to try and do this every 6 to 9 months. The problem is that usually that I thrift a bunch of yarn. And when I thrift yarn, I kind of just throw it in there. So after 6 months or so of that, it gets a little crazy. I generally know where everything is, but it's good to kind of assess what you have, get your hands on it, think about some more projects. That's when I tend to be in the sorting mode of, oh, maybe I could make a whole sweater out of these different things that I've collected. So I think it's a good way to assess what you have, think about what you can do with it. And just be aware, because I don't really want to forget about yarn that I have. It's okay if I don't use it for a while or it hangs out and lingers, but I like to know, I like to have it in the back of my mind, and having my hands on it really helps. So that's what we're doing today. I have this bookshelf that I keep most of my crafting stuff on. These 3 shelves are all yarn, which I feel like is a reasonable amount. We've got some sweater quantities and lots of scraps. It's generally organized by weight, except for right now it kind of isn't. Also a little bit by type, kind of depends. A lot of stuff is just shoved in these wool warehouse bags right now and shoved into the shelf, and that's kind of part of what we need to manage today. So yeah, we're going to do that. It's not going to look perfect by the end, but it is going to look better than this, or at least that's the goal. And I will remember now where everything is. Maybe I'll have a new project idea when we're done. So that's exciting. I'm going to take this out. We're going to take it to the floor. We're going to do some sorting, and then it's going to go back up. So I hope you're excited to join me on this adventure. But yeah, let's start by pulling some of this out into my handy dandy laundry basket. So I am very much aware that this looks like a lot less yarn on the shelf than it does on the floor in a big pile. The shelves can be deceiving, but realistically, this is 2 shelves worth of stuff. I left some of it up there. I've just got 3 big skeins of acrylic that I don't really need to mess with or move around or anything like that. So we're gonna have to do a little sorting first. My sorting is kind of nonsensical. It's a little bit by weight, but some things I group by type, like unraveled cashmere is probably going to all go together because it's very similar and will probably be used together. So it doesn't make sense to separate it if one is lighter than the other and that kind of thing. Some things, a lot of this are single thrifted skeins or cones, leftover from other projects. This was my cardigan number 9, I think. So I kind of keep everything unless I really don't think I'm going to use it. I keep most wool and fibers like that. I don't always keep spare plant fibers. Though I did realize as I was pulling some of this out, I have a handful of full leftover skeins from summer projects last year that were cotton. So this is why we do this. So I remember and so I can see stuff. But let's get to sorting. So I've bagged a bunch of the woolly wools that aren't a priority right now, or that are full sweater quantities. Like this is a sweater for my husband next year, so I don't need to worry about that at the moment. These are all Shetland wools. As I thrift things, the kind of structure of what I have changes. So I sometimes need to go in and decide what I want to keep all together and what can be loose on the shelves. So we're starting with this. This is all sock type yarns, and the bags stack better higher than the individual yarns do, so we'll do that. This is actually, I mean, this is so much right here. But I put my scrap bag. This is all like single leftover scrap. Skeins. Okay, so that's those. Like, I don't know how logical this seems, but I have all wools here. These are heavier weight. I have try and put the cones further in the back because they don't like tip over. These are just bags. I'll probably shove something above here too, but I'm not sure yet. I have like all my cashmere in the basket to put up here now, which are in various sized hanks, but I like to keep all of that together. And then I do randomly have some in this bag that's left over from another project. But I probably need to do a scrappy cashmere project at some point, which sounds kind of crazy, but like I want to use it all, obviously. Then I have some random loose ones. Like I know this probably looks like it's going back to the same place it was before, but it helps me work it out, you know? That's what matters. And sometimes I just need to condense all the wools so I can focus on whatever this season is and figure out what I'm like, how I'm gonna use that. Because obviously I have a lot more of the wool. Duh, it's knitting. I missed this one. Sock yarn. Yeah. Bulky wools. I usually put the thin stuff on top. But I think, I don't know, I'm trying to decide how best to do it. Like, I'm not worried about seeing this mohair right now. Or these like lightweight alpaca. I think I'm just gonna put my Noro down here too. I have these skeins of Noro, but like I didn't buy them myself. They kind of came from someone who, well, I inherited them basically. And I've had them for forever and I just cannot figure out what to do with them. I've obviously tried to do something with them and then it just didn't pan out because they're all the same color, but like one of them's Silk Sock Solo, so like the fingering weight one, and the others are the Korean one that's like a worsted weight, I think. Because these are lightweight, so I'll put these up here. I know it looks crazy, but it feels less crazy. At least it's not all falling out, because it was kind of all falling out before. Let's do the next batch, but I'm probably going to keep some of these out because I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with them. So I don't really think I'm going to do anything with these this season. It's a cotton wool blend and I just don't really have any interest. This is, I think, a bamboo merino. I think it's just too late in the season to start with that. These are two like silk darn good yarn cakes that I thrifted, but I used part of both of them and now I kind of don't know what to do with them. Thinking maybe I could do like an accessory project with some of these minis that I have, but just don't know if it's the priority. I'm leaving these are all DK weight wools and superwash and alpaca blends. This is also DK because I'm going to knit another Holger sweater for a small child. Not that I know, but that will be born in the wintertime. So that is staying out. What else? These cottons I kind of need to take a look at. This is, I don't even know what that is. I think that's like a mercerized cotton because it's really shiny. I thrifted that. This is leftover knitting for Olive. This is leftover knitting for Olive. This is a skein of silk that I have not used, but I thrifted a while ago, so maybe we can make something like that work. These are all, I'm not gonna, well, this is cotton and wool, but it's mostly cotton. This I really don't know what to do with. I thrifted it last year. It's definitely cotton. I mean, it's super thin. It's basically thread, which now I'm kind of like, I don't know if this was a good move. This I think is going to be a June top. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave all this out and like play with it. See what happens. See what happens. This is, I don't know. It's just a mess. I know it's a silk cashmere blend that I unraveled from a sweater and dyed, and then I started a project and then it stretched out a lot and then I frogged it and then just haven't gotten back to it because it was just kind of disappointing. So let's put these away. Look at how nicely that condensed into 2 and a little bit of shelves. I obviously have stuff off the shelf right now, but I feel better about this. I don't know if this looks better to you, but to me, this looks so much better. I feel a lot better about it. It's less stressful. Things aren't just going to fall out, which is cool. I do kind of have these bags of fiber that I don't really want to have in these buckets down here, but they've sort of kept falling, so I'll shove these back in here. Yeah, I pulled like two yarns to get rid of. Nothing big, just stuff that I've been saying forever that I'm going to use and I don't think I'm going to use. The local yarn store near me has a little, it's like a free little library, but it's for craft supplies. So I usually leave yarn that I don't want in there because I know it'll go to someone who actually wants yarn. So yeah, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that other stuff. I'll let you know if I figure it out because who knows? I feel like I'm like totally off track this summer. This is kind of part of the like getting myself in order mentally to deal with all this. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how you store your stash, how you manage that. It can be hard. Like for me, I really need it visually to be able to see what I have and what's going on. And this helps a lot. I kind of am sad that it goes in the bags. It'd be nice to have it in like some bins or something, but I also feel like I can still see it through the like mesh, so it's is better than a bin where it would be totally hidden, but that's where we're at. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having some great knitting. I'll see you hopefully next week with a podcast, and happy knitting.